Coming up on the bench, Fran Brown's squad welcomed Stanford over the weekend after both squads had the week off. And you're probably thinking the same thing. A bye week already in week 3? Anyway, it marked the first contest between the two schools since the Cardinal joined the ACC. We'll get you caught up leading into the drama in the final minutes of the game. Plus, women's hoops returned home to take on Yale over the weekend before jumping on the plane to College Station with a matchup at Texas A&M. Could the Orange find some consistency with ACC play just around the corner? Finally, volleyball was met in the women's building by a couple teams from the Old Dominion State. Virginia and Virginia Tech made the trek north to try and keep Syracuse winless in conference play. We'll show you the two tight contests from last week. Highlights, fun, we got it all. It's on the bench, and it starts right now. Welcome into On the Bench inside our Citrus TV studios. Nico Horning, Ryan Foreman, Josh Radjanoff here with you. Good morning, guys. Happy to be with you. A lot going on the Hill right now, so let's get right into it. 5 field hockey players have been named to the NFHCA All-Region team. Willemijn Bogert, Bear Backermans, Bo Von Kempen have all secured first-team recognition. Bo Madden and Lika Ligongers made the second team. Von Kempen led the Orange with 33 points and 15 goals, and Bogert was second on the team with 23 points. Field hockey season wrapped up a couple of weeks ago in a 1-0 overtime loss to Harvard in the first round of the NCAA tournament. In other news, men's soccer forward Sakil Ming is set to compete with the Bermuda men's national team in the CONCACAF Gold Cup prelims. This isn't the first time that Ming will play for the British territory. He played with Bermuda last summer in a FIFA World Cup qualifying match. Ming recorded a pair of assists in 5 starts this past season for the Orange. The freshman and Bermuda play their first match Friday at home against Honduras and then travel to Honduras for a rematch next Tuesday. Speaking of football, or should I say American football, Syracuse welcomed Stanford for the inaugural matchup between the two programs on Saturday. The talk all offseason long has been centered around if these ACC schools can sustain the coast-to-coast travel after Stanford, Cal, and SMU joined the conference, and the Cardinal were put to the test early on in the season with the road game in the Dome. Both squads coming off a bye. Syracuse 2-0 so far with home victories over Ohio and a ranked Georgia Tech team. We start with Stanford ball. 3rd and long inside the Syracuse 20. Ashton Daniels finds Alec Io-Manor leaping up and grabbing it, pulling it down. 17-yard touchdown, 7-0 Stanford. The Canadian had a field day in the Dome with 87 receiving yards on 7 receptions. And speaking of catches, Devin Grant picks off Daniels, the junior, with his first interception in an orange uniform after transferring from Buffalo. Syracuse down 10 in the final minute of the first half. McCord finds Umari Hatcher, a 67-yard touchdown. Syracuse with a big play to climb within 3 at halftime. Late in the third, McCord looking for Villari, but instead it's Mitch Liegber to take it to the house. A 71-yard pick six, the first returned interception for the Cardinal in 3 seasons. Syracuse down 20-10. Final play of the third quarter. McCord says enough of this stagnant offense. I'm going to do it myself. A 19-yard run to the end zone without a leap right there over the goal line, and Syracuse trails 20-17 heading into the fourth. The Orange struggled to run the ball with LaQuinn Allen all day long. Just 25 yards on the ground. They go through the air to Jackson Meeks. A yes-sir moment for Meeks, the first lead of the day for Syracuse, 24-23. Stanford already at midfield. 20 seconds left in the fourth. Io-Manor again coming up clutch for the Cardinal to set Stanford up inside Syracuse's 20. A potential game-winning kick on the line from Emmett Kenny from 39 out. Nails it. Syracuse falls to Stanford 26-24 and loses its first game under Fran Brown. From one globally recognized university to another, women's hoops hosted Yale over the weekend. This matchup is sandwiched in between 2 trips for Syracuse. SU split 2 games down in Destin, Florida against Missouri and Creighton, and it'll head to College Station this week. But let's hone in on the task at hand. The Orange eyed a response against a 1-7 Bulldogs team. Freshman Kira Scott getting introduced after 11 points against Creighton. The Orange ready to go, but first off, it was a one-woman show for much of the game for Yale. Mackenzie Ager finished with a double-double. Yale, they can be scrappy defensively too, so not a great start for Syracuse, down 10-3 after Lucy Lynn knocks it down. But the Orange found their groove in the paint, got back into this thing, led by the Brazilian Isa Verajao with a double-double. helped climb Syracuse back. Also had 2 blocks. SU up 13 at halftime. Woolley dumps it down low to Kira Scott. 1 dribble, fadeaway, yes. All Syracuse after the first quarter with everybody involved. You could call it Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe Thanksgiving leftovers with Syracuse heating things up in the microwave for second half fuel. Syracuse takes it 78-50 over Yale. Woolley led the way with 16. The Orange play Texas A&M on Wednesday for the SEC and ACC Challenge. So with hoops to volleyball, Syracuse excited to get back in the women's building after a really struggle and start to the season. 12-0 though in non-conference play for Bakir Ganesh-Renton's team. The Orange have dropped all 9 ACC matches. Granted, 4 of them were ranked opponents, including 2 top 4 teams in Pitt and Louisville. Syracuse hosted another ranked team in Virginia and then unranked Virginia Tech last week, and Syracuse came up just short against UVA. Forced a 5th set for the first time in conference play, but lost it 15-13. Grad student Ava Palm registers the first 20-piece for an SU player this season. But could the Orange respond when the weekend arrived? It's time for Virginia Tech to enter the women's building, and Syracuse got it done. This time 3-2 in their favor and another 15-13 final set score. The first ACC win in 721 days for Syracuse against another struggling conference team. Almost another 20 kills from Palm, and also redshirt freshman Skylar George picked up a season-high 14 kills. Syracuse heads to NC State on Friday and then Wake Forest on Saturday. All right, when we come back, Fran Brown has brought a new establishment into the 315. We'll explain why and add a little bit of fun to it on the other side with a buy or sell contest. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our Citrus TV studios. Ryan Foreman, Josh Radjanov. I'm Nico Horning, and guys, Syracuse football has really transcended things here in the last year since Fran Brown has arrived. We'll get into that in a minute, but first we're going to play a game. It's called The Wolf of Waverly Avenue. It's a buy or sell game. I'll give you guys a couple of takes, a couple of questions. You take it one way or another. We talked about Syracuse from last year. Kyle McCord, the nation's leading passer, he's gone. He got drafted in the 6th round by the Eagles. Now a new quarterback is here in Syracuse for the year. LSU transfer Ricky Collins. A lot of hype around this guy. Not much experience, though, as of late. Can he finish top 3 quarterback in the ACC? Josh, I'll start with you.
I'm going to say yes, sir. He can finish in the top 3 in the ACC. Look, who else in the ACC is going to be in the top 3? You have maybe Carson Beck, transfer from Georgia to Miami, but he's coming from LSU. This is a really good quarterback school, so he's learned a little bit there. And we saw what Fran Brown did with Kyle McCord, really coaching him. He's a dual threat quarterback, Ricky Collins. He can get it done running the ball, passing the ball. Maybe a little bit of question mark who's going to be catching the ball. But above all else, Ricky Collins is a talented quarterback who I think can finish in the top 3 in the ACC.
Josh, I don't know how you can say that with a straight face, genuinely. You mentioned the inexperience. This guy's taken 9 collegiate snaps in LSU, a school renowned for its receivers and weapons. I don't get how you can say that when the last full season this guy played was in 2023, where he only had 1,500 passing yards, 600 rushing yards. Now, given that he has weapons in Syracuse with tons of receivers coming in and still yet to come, Ricky Collins has his work cut out for him with McCord. As top 3 quarterbacks last year, McCord, Ward, and then Caleb Klubnik. These 3 both had, the top 2 had over 4,000 passing yards, while Klubnik had around 3,500. But Ricky Collins is going to need to step it up and show that his raw production can transfer for him to be a top 3.
And Ryan, Collins had just 7 passes across 2 seasons, so you just compared the experience among the two. And speaking of experience, this offensive line for Syracuse has been so-so as of late. A lot of people projecting the offensive line to be a little bit iffy this upcoming season. What are you guys seeing with this offensive line? Will the issue be the offensive line, or will it not be the O-line? Ryan.
I'm going to have to sell again because I believe that the phrasing of this question can be very, very disorienting. But the biggest issue is going to be the Syracuse defense because Fran Brown went out and he got Austin Collins from Louisville and Nikhil Bertrand from Bama, who are both 3-star transfers, which will bolster the O-line. But once again, this defense is a problem. Every time I watch them, I see a secondary that looks lost half the time. They don't know what they're doing sometimes, and because our offense is so high-powered, they're able to get away with it. But without McCord, without LaQuinn Allen, without Meeks, without Gadsden, this offense isn't going to be able to hold up the same production, and this defense is going to struggle.
You know, you bring up a good point. The defense might struggle, and there are some question marks there, but there are just too many question marks on the offensive line. I'm gonna sell that take. The offensive line will be the biggest issue, in my opinion. Look, I think the biggest thing is I've heard from offensive lineman Travis Frederick. He's a longtime center for the Dallas Cowboys. He called the offensive line organized chaos, and you need to have some sort of chemistry whenever you have that organized chaos on the offensive line.
Organized, man.
It is organized chaos, and they've lost so much. I mean, especially in the spring, losing David Wallabo Jr. that hurts. It's going to take a lot of time for this offensive line to kind of float together. There might be some sacks. You might see some. It's not going to be very successful early on with a run game. Tough schedule early on too. I don't see this offensive line having a lot of success for the Orange.
Austin Collins brought in an offensive lineman from Louisville. Maybe he can help them. But again, it's going to be another iffy stretch for Syracuse heading into the season. We know what wasn't iffy last year was Fran Brown. First year ever as a head coach, came in from Georgia, transcended things. First 10-win season since 2018, led Syracuse to a win over Washington State in the Holiday Bowl and the campus walk before the game. Very exciting moment. But things are different here in the year two. No McCord, receivers are lackluster so far. Josh, will year two be better than year one for Fran Brown and company?
You know, I was really taking in those campus walks. I enjoyed those all the time.
Amazing.
And I think we're going to build on it. I think Syracuse builds on it. I think I'm going to buy that take. Year two will be better. Look, was it the best year one? No, there were some missed opportunities there. There could be a lot better. You could do a lot better in year two. It's a tough schedule, but there's a lot to prove, I think, for Fran Brown's squad. You can beat Tennessee. I mean, especially with Nico Amaliava not on Tennessee anymore, leaving the transfer portal.
Like a threat.
There's a chance that Syracuse could go into Atlanta, beat Tennessee week one. You have many opportunities on the road against Clemson, against Notre Dame. You can make some statements, and if Syracuse can win some big games, maybe not as good as a record, I would still say if you win some of those big games, win those marquee matchups, year two could very much be better for Fran Brown. And I think he has a lot to prove too. He's very hungry. I think he's going to be very hungry to win those games. I like year two, Fran Brown.
You know, Nico, you actually took the words right out of my mouth, but I'm going to answer your question with another question. How do you top a year that took a 6-8 program to 11-3, made a bowl game where they absolutely obliterated Washington State, finished the season ranked, and had multiple ranked wins, including a playoff spoiler to Miami, and having 3-year receivers go for just about 1,000 yards, and the top passer in the nation? That's so much.
Other than that, right?
Of course. We're not even talking about the new football complex that was made. I mean, this guy has done so much for the school in the span of 1 year. That's simply, okay, he could have a great year too. But how does he top the bar that he set? It's way too high for Fran Brown. So I got to say, I'm selling this take.
Biggest thing's got to be Kyle McCord, the nation's leading passer, gone.
Yeah.
He carried the team for much of the season. But we'll see how Ricky Collins and company, Steve Angeli now transferring from Notre Dame as well. Maybe the quarterback competition opens back up. We'll see. All right, that just about does it here on Citrus TV. For Ryan Foreman, Josh Radjanoff, I'm Nico Horning, wishing you a great rest of your afternoon. We'll see you next time.